tonight's presentation, Jerry's going to clarify and make OneNote information more digestible, as far as I know, since most of us seemed confused last month. Before we go any further, hopefully you paid attention to the email about having to switch the meeting next month to the second Thursday. You remember, because, and it happened again for December. I couldn't get the first Thursday at all. In fact, I couldn't get the first Thursday except in one location in the entire Arapahoe Library District. And that was some little tiny room. Held like, I think it's a closet or something, I don't know. So next month in December will be the second Thursday.
We probably won't be here in December.
Well, you know, you'll just miss out. So, but I wanted to make sure everybody acknowledged that it's going to be the second Thursday for the next 2 months. Hi, Dick. Have a seat.
I shall.
And Jerry's presentation is going to be on OneNote, as I said. Clarification, we're thinking. A couple of us are downloading it.
Excuse me. Don't you hate late arrivals?
Yeah, I do.
As an aside, for those of you who haven't used OneNote, it is handy for a lot of things, keeping like grocery lists and things like that. It's really handy if your partners using it are computer literate or phone literate. I tried that with my wife, saying, well, put the grocery list in OneNote and you can keep it on, you know, she said, forget it. Because she uses her computer for the internet and Outlook, and that's it. And Word, you know, PowerPoint, things like that. Pardon me?
Your wife's way ahead of mine.
Yeah, so pay attention. If you have questions, I'm certain Jerry will take them at the appropriate point. So let's try to let him get through without interrupting him. So, unless you're totally perplexed and like, well,
can I change that comment? I actually want people to interrupt.
oh, okay. Well, the thing I found with interruptions, the drawback, is sometimes it causes the presenter, maybe Jerry's not one of those, but being a presenter occasionally, it causes you to lose your train of thought and the track you're on. So sometimes then all of a sudden you skip something that you wanted to cover. But I'll let Jerry take over. Hop in here, Jerry.
After the last meeting, I got thinking about a lot of things and simplifying or understanding, and that's why we came up with the name. I think one of the big confusions, and I know different people had, is where does OneNote do all of its work and what goes on? And I think that was kind of confusing about how OneNote documents get stored, etc. So hopefully I can demystify that for everybody a little bit tonight. OneNote does require you to have a Microsoft account. The default location for OneNote to store everything is on OneDrive. And this allows you to store your OneNote notebooks online so they can be accessed from anywhere. If you use the Office version of OneNote, which is 2016, that is the only version of OneNote that allows you to save notebooks in other locations. So the OneNote Online and the OneNote application that's on Windows 10 and the OneNote application that runs on the mobile devices all store the notebooks on the OneDrive account that you have with your Microsoft account. So with that kind of little summary, I'm going to show you where those documents are and a little bit about them and how you can do things right now. So again, please interrupt. I planned this meeting to be completely interactive with everybody. So I'd like you to please ask me questions. Don't hesitate to interfere. If it's something's not clear, I would like to make sure we get it so you do understand it. Yes?
I guess my first question is, can OneNote be used in any operating system, or is it only for Windows 10?
It will work in, well, it depends on, it theoretically one way or another can work anywhere. It is designed for Windows primarily. There is a version that runs on the Macintosh, and there are applications that run on Android, iOS, and Windows Mobile. So those mobile devices. If you are using something outside of those, you will need to use the browser version of the application. So if you have a web browser on a Linux machine, you can use OneNote on the Linux machine using the web browser version. So if you have any of the standard web browsers, it will work in those other operating systems that are not Windows or not Macintosh on the desktop level.
So I can use it in Windows 7.
It can be used in Windows 7, yes. Now, you can actually download OneNote 2016, which is the Office version or the full version. You cannot run the OneNote for Windows 10 on any other on the Windows 7 devices. So you could use it through the web or through the 2016 version, which you can install free. You don't have to have Office 2016 to use it. So any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Okay. We're going to be discussing these three versions. Tonight we're not going to be discussing OneNote on the Macintosh, and we're not going to get into the mobile versions of OneNote with any details at all for that, just so we can make sure where we're at. The default file location is on OneDrive under Files and in the Documents folder. And this is where you go. So we're going to go over here and we're going to open up, and I have OneDrive. I've already logged into OneDrive, and you can see my files, etc. And I've got lots of them in here, and I do all kinds of stuff in here. So what you want to go is if you go down to the Documents folder, which is there, and I open that up, it will start showing what's available, and as it sinks down, and if you notice, there are OneNote icons. This is where notebooks are stored on OneDrive, and that's the file that you'll look for. If you're done with a notebook and you want to get rid of it, this is where you would come and you could actually delete a notebook from this location. This is how you would delete a notebook. One of the other things that they have inside of this, in the notebooks, there is a OneNote notebooks folder in here. And I'm going to open that up just to show you what it is. There's a OneNote, and this is Quick Notes. So this would be where it's at. If I open that folder, what this has, you want to open this file, and I'm going to do it here. If we open it up, if you notice, it shows all my notebooks and just Quick Notes in it. This is where you can set a default when you're doing a Quick Note on the Windows that you can actually. This is where it would be stored, just so you're aware of that. So when you're looking for that, you can look for Quick Notes in this folder. You can tell Quick Notes and the application to go into other notebooks if you want to on doing that. So I'm going to close that. Okay, we're here in OneDrive. And we're back on the folders. To go online, to get to the one line, when you're in OneDrive and logged in, if you notice I'm over here on the right-hand side, I'm logged in, so you need to be logged in to get to OneDrive. If I click on the hamburger, whatever you call that, the 9 dots, you can open that up. This is all of the Office applications online that you have access to. So if you actually want to go in and do PowerPoint online or Word online, you can actually do that here. But I'm going to go ahead and just open up OneNote. And what it does is it opens up and it just lets you choose your notebooks that you want to open and go to. Okay. Down here I've got one called Understanding OneNote, and that's what I've been doing. And I've just now opened up the presentation I was showing you before on the screen. If you look at the online version, it looks different from the other versions to some extent. And it works, but it works the same way. If you want to go through the sections, you can see on the left-hand side, these tabs are for sections, so you can see different sections. And in the sections on the right, just to the right of that, these are the pages that you're looking at that are on OneNote. At the bottom of these two, you can add a section or you can add a page onto the item. But to start with, let's go over to the other side, and I want to create a new notebook. So if I click on More Notebooks, it brings up the list of all the notebooks, and then I can click on the New, and I'm just going to call this we're just going to call it Dog Test, and we're going to create a notebook. You notice it brings up opens your notebook. It creates a folder for quick notes. It creates one untitled page on it. Now if we want to add sections to this, just come down and click on New Section, and we can just say, I can create my, if I can spell, call my section, I can click OK. And if you notice, it now put on the left-hand side, it put a new section out there. This is like a folder in a notebook. So we now have an open notebook, and we now have different sections or different groupings that we can have on there. So we can do that. Every time you create a section, it creates an untitled empty page in that section for you. So you can actually organize, you can put whatever you want there. If you notice on the right-hand side, the cursor, which is the blinking bar here, this lets you give the page a name. I'm not going to be very creative. And you can just call it, you can rename this at any time you want. So we can add that. We can come over and under the page where it says My Page Now, I can add a new page. So I can just call it New Page. And in that page, you can just click anywhere you want and enter text. That's free form. You can do it anywhere you want to. When you're dealing with it, then you can click somewhere else. If you notice, it puts different things. It has what they call a container that you can see at different times where you're going to be entering it into. And this is how you would actually just enter basic text. And with this, under the text, under the Home tab up there, you can change the font, the size, you can do all kinds of formatting with it, just like you can in any other Office document. But you can rearrange these and do the formatting that you want to. So that's the basics of just getting some text and some basic areas into it. Now to better help you organize, one of the things we can do is under the sections, over here on the left-hand side, if you right-click, okay. This does not, I'm not able to, okay. I'm not able to get a section group in the browser. You can change the color if you don't like the color of the folder. You can change it to, you can change the folder to get you one. And if you notice, it shows it across. You can insert tables, you can insert photos, you can record audio. Under the web browser version, you cannot record video into the OneNote application itself. If you happen to open a OneNote file that has a recording in it, it just doesn't do anything. It's just a placeholder to hold it for you so you can do that. You cannot insert an Excel spreadsheet unless you have Office installed on your machine, and it will let you install an Excel spreadsheet directly in it, or PowerPoint, or a Word document directly into it. So the online version does not allow you to organize in that way. If anybody wants to see, I did show a lot of these last time. You want me to go into any details in showing how to do some of these, I'll be happy to do it. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to go back in here, and that is information. When you're printing in here, you're using the printer dialog box that's from your browser. So if you're using Google or Firefox, you're going to use the printer dialog box from that. One of the things that we don't have a lot of options are, you don't have a lot of things that you can change and customize on the OneNote. It does not allow you to do a lot of different things. If you come over on that, that's basically using OneNote inside of the device. Any basic questions about using the basics in OneNote? So you can actually link into whatever you need to have done. So that's basically how you would do that. If you want to insert, again, you could actually insert any of these items into your file on doing things. Now you can create subgroups, and I thought I knew how to do it here, but it's not letting me do section groups. So I thought I was able to do that. One of the other things that you are limited on in on the online version is the ability to convert your handwriting or pen to text. You cannot do that, and you cannot do OCR out of an image. On the full-blown version, you can take an image and you can actually flip the text out of an image and actually into your clipboard, and you can use it anywhere you want to, which is a very, very powerful tool for me, because how many of us have ever been working and you've got a problem, an error dialog box pops up, and you want to get that image, and you want to be able to enter it into some document, like, you know, the people that you're sending your request off for assistance wants to know what messages you're getting. You can use that feature to do OCR out of an image that you clip, and you can actually then paste it into your request for support. More and more places that I'm running into, they want you to give them all the information, and then they'll set up a session with you. Instead of going right to somebody, you need to send them some information, and that's a very easy way to do it. Now, OneNote online is available to get to your OneNote notebooks on OneDrive from any browser on any system, as long as it's a compliant browser. I'm not saying there's not some unusual, very slim used ones that are out there, but most of your major browsers will work with it. Now, one of the things that is really nice is that the major browsers, they make a OneNote web clipper that's in the browser that you can install as an extension or as an add-on into your existing browsers. So if you're using Firefox, you're using Edge, you're using IE, you're using Google, Chrome, if you're using Safari on an Apple, you can install the Web Clipper app. And what the Web Clipper app is, it keeps track of where you're at in your program. And up here at the right you can kind of see where I'm kind of highlighting up there. There's a OneNote icon up there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a web page. I now have a web page that is up. Now, there are once in a while you will find a web page that does not support the web clipper. But if I click on the web clipper up at the upper right hand thing, it comes up with a dialog box that says, do you want to clip the full page, which is the first option, and it shows you on the left what it's going to look like. The second one down is, do you want to clip a region out of the item? So I can scroll anywhere within the region that I want, and I can clip what I want. When I let go, it automatically inserts this act. When you click on the clip, it will automatically put that into my OneNote. And there's what I clipped. And the information on where it came from, that's the URL and the information of where it was clipped at, and there's what I clipped off the web page. So I now have that in my item that I can actually use within it. So any web page I'm on, you can click on the web browser item, and you can then clip whatever you want. If you want to just do an article, what it does is it gets rid of all the web ads that you see popping up to sell you everything on Amazon or wherever that you pop up to. So it eliminates the add-on superfluous stuff. And the fourth option you have is you can actually say, I just want to keep a link to the bookmark. So you can actually build a directory of wherever you're working on, doing research or whatever. If you're looking at recipes, you can actually just bookmark the actual web page. So from within OneNote, you can actually jump back to the web page that you were on when you did this clip on doing that. The other thing that's very important below that is the location where you're going to be putting the clip. If you notice, it has, my default is on the personal webs and quick notes folder. But if I open up the item below there, you notice that I can go to different locations in that folder and where I want to go. And if you notice, I can also scroll up and down, and I can go to every notebook I've got that is on here. So if I want to put this in dog test from the clip, I can just click on it and it will default to that location. This is on the web. It's not as fast as it could be. Oh, it's wanting me to select which section. Then I can do a clip and it's in there. Any questions about how you can clip out of a web page into OneNote? I find this extremely useful when I'm doing research on something, because I can go out and just make a notebook for the project that I'm clipping and then just clip all these browser features into it and what I'm finding on the line. And now I've got them all put together into a single document, so it's easy to find them. Now you can organize yourself however you want to in it on doing that. Is there any other questions on using OneNote online?
Did you say you could change the color of the sections or
Yes, I did.
on the online?
On the online version, yes. If you look at the front here, the color up here under my section, okay, Quick Notes is green right now.
Yeah. How did you do that?
Okay, on that, what you change that, and same thing on on that for your pages in there, I right-click
Oh,
on the
section
note,
color, okay.
then you select
Okay.
it's section color, and I can come down and make it whatever color I would
Okay.
like it to do. And
Yeah.
if you notice, the tab actually goes out and changes also on the color,
Right.
okay? And if you're lucky, on the different, you can actually do some other one of the other things that you can do from within this is you can switch to the actual application on your desktop out of the online version and jump back over to get more functionality and more features that you'll find on the other items. So that's basically how you can get. Now, some of the things that you miss out on the OneNote. Switch. So one of the other things that we get when we do that resize this a little bit. Okay. A few quick notes about the OneNote Online. It does run in a browser, so you have to have internet connection at all times to use the online version of OneNote. Again, it only looks for and creates new notebooks in OneDrive. So you have to be logged into your OneDrive account. This also allows you to work with syncing between the other devices for some other features later. One thing about this, in the OneNote Online, when you're doing a search for words in the document itself, the online version only searches in the current notebook or the current section or the current page. You cannot search across other notebooks like you can in the other versions of OneNote. So you can only search in a single notebook at a time that you're working on. And to do that, just to show you here, if I come back over here and into the pages, and I click on the hourglass here to do a search, and I type in dog, okay, if you notice I can look in the section, I can look in the notebook, or I can look in the page. So you can do whatever you want. And that's where it found the word dog in this notebook on the left-hand side for searching. Is there a question?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, I just didn't know, maybe somebody had a question.
Slide conversation.
Okay.
I was trying to break Stan's laptop.
Did you succeed?
You can't do 216 on that, right? So I can't move.
You can use Outlook features on the online version if you have Outlook installed on your machine. Let me make that slightly smaller here. Some features are not supported on the online version, but if you have a OneNote notebook that has those features in it, you just will not be able to update, delete, or deal with those features. One of the areas, again, is like if you have a recorded video, you can't do anything. It's just a placeholder on the online version, so you can't do that. Also, you can only use the basic tags that come with OneNote, on the online version, you cannot make your own custom tags or search for the tags. You can just work with the tags themselves. You also cannot use custom dictionaries like you're used to working in Word, where you can have specialized dictionaries that you create to use for, custom words for like in engineering terms, etc., that you cannot deal with. Again, you can't embed Excel. You also cannot export OneNote notebooks to other formats like PDF and Word like you can in the Office version of Windows OneNote 2016. So if you want to create PDF files or Excel files, etc., you cannot do it from the online version. So the online version probably is the most limited there is. But it does a lot of the basics that you need. So if you're out and about and you need to get to it, and somebody's got a browser you can get onto, you can log on to your OneDrive account in their browser and go out and do all the basics you want to with OneNote. So if your wife, if your wife can't say you can't see the grocery list for on your way home, because you can always get to it on a browser. Yes, Judy?
Does the OneDrive cost to have it?
No, the basic is free with the Microsoft account.
With Microsoft account?
With the Microsoft account. Now, it's not a large size OneDrive, but you can get more if you do other things. You can actually pay for more. And there is no limit to the amount of uploads and downloads. Like some note-taking things, they limit how much you can download in a month. There is no limit on the uploads, downloads, or syncing or anything between OneDrive and your local machines.
So if you increase the size, is it a one-time payment or is it a yearly payment?
Yearly.
It's a yearly payment. Now,
They give you 15 gigabytes.
Oh,
yeah, it's not overly large, but it's a pretty good size. And I subscribe to Office 365, which is a subscription service for Office, which is an annual item. For $100, I get 5 copies of Office that I can use. And with each one of those licenses for Office, all 5 of them, each one of those licenses gets a terabyte of storage space on OneDrive. So if you have several machines, it's definitely worthwhile to consider to get the larger volume on OneDrive. Now I have the Office 365, so I have a terabyte of storage space. My wife has one. I actually have 2 OneDrive accounts, one through another organization. So I've actually got 2 terabytes of hard drive that I can actually tap into. Now you can only work with one OneDrive account at a time. You can't look at both of them simultaneously. You have to log out of one and log into the other to be able to get to the OneDrive. I've not found a way that you can combine them and look at both of them. Dale, have you found anything that way that you can do?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So getting space is not a big problem, and for most people, unless you're using an awful lot of photos, you're not going to use much of it. If you are, you probably want to look at getting something like the Office 365 or paying for a monthly. I believe you can get a little bit better deal if you pay for a whole year at a time. I think it saves you a few dollars. So I don't remember and there's different amounts of storage space that you can buy and purchase for usage. And most online cloud services are doing very much similar. If you have Dropbox, you pay for you get a basic and then you pay for more, etc. On doing that. If you use Evernote, they give you a real small amount unless you pay for the features. And a lot of their features are not available in the free version now. You're seeing more and more companies going to monetize to help cover the cost of doing their software, etc. The free stuff is slowly disappearing. So we're seeing a lot of the apps in your stores for your phones, etc. are starting to charge a small amount for that to cover their costs. So that's OneNote Online. If I switch back to OneDrive, and then I switch back to OneDrive. As you notice, I've got 38 gigabytes down here at the side. I've got 38.1 gigabytes out of the 1.3 terabytes that I have available. With my now, just to go back down here, if I come into the documents, and I come down here, I will come down here and I will right there on the left-hand side, that's the notebook I created today, dog test, and if you knew, you can actually go there and see that. So you actually have that, and if you're done using it, you can right-click on it and you can actually delete it. You can move it if you want to. Now, one of the things that does happen on OneDrive, under the documents, and it actually syncs to your local machine that you're running on with OneDrive. So if you've got Windows and you're doing the OneDrive, it automatically syncs the OneNote notebook to your local hardware, and this allows you to use the other two versions of OneNote offline without having to be online. So if I'm not connected somewhere, I can actually go use the OneNote for Windows 10 or the OneNote 2016. I can actually edit all of the changes I want, and when I get back online, it will automatically sync what I changed offline to the OneDrive on the cloud, so keep everything in sync. And OneNote automatically saves your documents continuously. You do not, there is no save feature in OneNote. It is automatically saved and updated, and there's also a history so you can actually go back and look at changes, etc. that you're doing.
That's the more.
Is there any questions on online before I switch to the Windows 10 version? This is the OneNote. That's not the one I wanted. This is the OneNote Windows 10 version. And this is an app from the App Store. It is put together and created so that it mimics what you would find on your phone or mobile device if you're running the OneNote app on your phone. What it does on the phone is it only shows you, if you notice the sections starting from the left, you have the notebooks, then you have sections, and then you have the pages, and then you have the page content. The mobile devices only show you one panel at a time, so you could actually only look at documents, and then you navigate to the OneNote. And this is done to look very similar to what you're going to see on your mobile device if you're running OneNote. Does anybody have OneNote on their phone? Would you like to verify that?
Verify what?
Can you open up OneNote on your phone?
Yeah.
If you notice, it shows one panel, and then you can switch to the right or left depending upon which way you need to go to see the different areas.
Let me, I really can only see my page.
You can't go to the...
Yeah, there's nothing.
Use the arrow.
Can't go back to the section.
Use the arrow.
Well, it takes me back to my list of
Oh.
pages.
Recent notes, okay.
Yeah, and if I go back, then it takes me to my notebooks.
Okay. But if you notice, that's the same as the left-hand panel up here, the notebooks that are shown
Right,
up there.
right. So
Then you can see the sections,
Yeah, once I enter,
a notebook,
then I gotta go into the section
and then the
and
page,
then the page.
and then you can see it all. But it looks very similar in concept with the OneNote for Windows 10 as well as the OneNote applications on your mobile devices. So it's meant to be very, very similar in concepts and how it works. Again, you can create new notebooks here, you can create new sections, new pages. Now, one of the things that I could not do on the online, if I click in the section areas, if you notice there, the middle one, it says you can create a section group. And what this is you can create a section group that will hold other sections, so you don't have 50 of them in one continuous thing. You can actually group sections. So if you were doing like a recipe group book, you I can rename that here, and I can call this main dish for the recipe book. And then underneath that tab, I can create a new section underneath main dishes. So I could do beef, and then I could do another one, chicken. So you can create tabs, and then you can collapse that so you don't have to see the tabs underneath those for grouping. So you can simplify and get the clutter out of your way if you want to do other things. I have not found any limitations except the size of the file on how many sections, pages, and groups you can have. I've never read anywhere where there's any limitations. The one area that there is a limitation on is in pages, you can only put 3 levels of subpages. So you have a page, subpage, and a sub-subpage under your items. So if we're going to, yes?
Not specifically OneNote related, but indirectly. Since OneNote stores everything on OneDrive out in the main area, and OneDrive can be set to sync to your computer. When you're offline, can you access, you said you can access those things
You access the
offline.
local copy on your local
Right.
machine.
But if it's in OneDrive, the next time OneDrive connects, will it
It will sync
it will take
automatically
the
unless you,
new version and replace the old version up on
it will
OneDrive?
update the version on OneDrive with the changes you made locally when you were offline.
It doesn't really update, it replaces.
I haven't read that. But
Yeah, I used to think that on OneDrive also, but from what I can tell, it simply replaces what's...
Unless
Yeah,
you've shared it and other people are making
yeah
changes
if
also.
you're sharing, then you're going to end up with 2 copies.
No.
If you go offline and put it back online...
I've been doing that with stuff at home and I'm not ending up with
Really?
2 copies.
Huh.
I may be different, but I've not run into
Yeah,
that yet.
I thought it didn't do that.
No,
Maybe
it works,
is
it
locked
keeps
in.
track of who made the changes. Well, if you're doing collaboration or sharing your notebook with other people, it does keep both, it syncs from both things into a single, even when you're offline.
Oh, okay.
But you can go back to the one, because you finally realized the last one was the better one. When it uplinks, there's a backup of the old one, or not?
There are backups that are made automatically, and in some of these, you can, in the OneNote for Office, OneNote 2016, you can go in and set how and where you want backups to be done. But if we also come under here, under View, and I'm not familiar enough, I use the 2016 so much, I don't remember where every feature is at.
Okay.
What it can do is it can go in and look for deleted notes, and you can disable the history. So if you've deleted things from the notes, it's going to come in and show me what I've deleted. You can look back at different areas. OneNote keeps a recycle bin for each notebook. So it's not one single recycle bin for the whole system, but it's each OneNote notebook has its own recycle bin, and it will keep things in the recycle bin for up to 60 days. So you've got 60 days if you want to go back to from the time you deleted it to get it back out of the recycle bin and bring it back into the production version.
Nice to know.
And if you notice here on the right-hand side, I don't know if you can see it, there's initials here. It's JH. I'm the one that made that changes. If you're doing collaboration, you will see the other person's initials that made other changes outside of what you did. And I'll show you that in a few minutes on a document. Now, okay, so if I'm looking at again, it's made to look similar to the, it creates OneNote in the other areas by using the sync and working. This version lets you work offline from the sync version that's available for the same location. In the search on this version, you can actually search in all notebooks for the word within it. Not just the current notebook and the current section and page, but you can search all notebooks, the current notebook, the current section, or current page when you're doing it. Tags are not really functional in here, and you can export, you cannot. I've got that wrong. You can't export to other versions,
Other formats.
to other formats like PDF and Word. You do have screen clippings, etc. So if we go back over here to the OneNote version that is here, and if I want to do a search, up here at the top I could do dog again. Right now it's in all notebooks, so I can find on this page, this section group, this notebook, all notebooks. All notebooks is the default. And right now it's finding all the different places. And if you notice, some of these are different places where dog is at, and I can just click on that and jump over to that section that I've got in another notebook somewhere else. This is in the personal notebook where I keep my clippings from my researching, where I'm searching for areas. Again, you can, at the home, you can change and do all the formatting that you want, just like you can in the online version. You can insert. Now, if you have Office, this is not the one I should be. You don't have as many features, again, that you can do. You cannot insert an Excel spreadsheet in here with this version because Excel is not supported the same across this and mobiles. If you do have Outlook on, you can actually get the meeting information coming out of Outlook. And if you want to change some of the options, you actually can come in and change settings. And you can actually sync automatically or not, sync all files and images. There is a version for turning this on where this is being used in a lot of classroom environments with teachers. So you can turn that feature on. On this version, you can choose the notebook for your quick notes. So when you can actually say, if I don't say anything, the default goes into this particular location. So you can just choose a name. And right now I'm under personal web, but I could actually change it to different different versions of where my quick notes would go for. Again, with the drawing, you do have some of the things. Again, you do not have the option of converting handwriting or pen input to text like you do in the Office version, but you can have a lot more different areas. And again, you can rearrange and copy and move this stuff all around from other areas. You can link pages. Again, you can use web clippings, etc. from it. Other than that, there's not a, you can see that this version is very similar, as Dale confirmed, to the way the mobile version looks on your phones, etc. And then the one I use all the time. Under the OneNote for the Office, my understanding is if you don't have Office and you install the 2016, Office 2016 version standalone, that is free, it does not enable any of the Office features because if you don't have Office installed, they're not available to you. So you cannot, if you don't have Office on there, you cannot embed an Excel spreadsheet without having Excel Office on your machine. Yes, Dale?
Can I add an addendum? Stan allowed me to touch his laptop, which probably was a mistake. He had Office 2013. We downloaded the copy of Office, or OneNote 2016, and dug down to get to the point where you're allowed to download it, because he has Windows 10. It removed Office.
Oh.
It said it was going to.
Yeah, but
it did.
It said that on mine, and I don't have Office on mine, so it always says that. Problem is, I did a system restore, and it did not put Office back.
Was Dan still talking?
So what?
Are you still talking to him?
Well, I'm thinking about it.
So,
That is good information.
as a piece, as a warning, don't let me touch your computer. But if you download OneNote 2016 and you have an older version of Office, there may be a fatal problem.
Oh dear.
Now, I don't know much about Stan's machine other than it's Windows 10.
But you should be able to reload.
Well, you should be able to reinstall your Office, yeah, if you have the original disk.
Then
Yeah.
everything works.
So,
Yeah, it will, you can reinstall it.
but I was extremely surprised that it removed Office,
I am too.
because I've never had that happen downloading a single purpose app from Microsoft.
I've never seen that before.
Now, the only thing I can think, color me paranoid, conspiratorial, Microsoft may be looking, and when you try to download some newer features, and they see something on there that they want to get rid of.
That could conflict with it.
Well, yeah, but normally Microsoft in the past has been really good about changing the common core components so they still work. I've never seen that happen.
Well, when that was deleted, they did say the option to upgrade to 365 or 265.
Well, yeah, but they're going to charge you for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean,
So that's why they.
what threw me is, the fact that you get that message. I've seen that message before. So I usually pay attention to it. And it's never done that.
That's one of the...
Don't believe him, Stan, it's not true.
So Stan was the guinea pig, and the guinea pig died. So I told him if he can't get it back on, I can see if I can figure something out. I know I've got 2010 at home somewhere.
I'll find it. I'll find mine.
So the Office version does allow you to work with different options and different...
Or I have to add you to my family Office 365 account.
There you go.
The Office OneNote 2016 does allow you to create notebooks in other locations, not just on OneDrive. But if you do that, you lose the ability, a lot of the functionality of being able to share it, to be able to synchronize and work with it from anywhere anywhere you're at, because you may not have, if you put it on your local drive, or in my case, I put it on my NAS device, I can't get to that from any place else except on my machine. So I lose the ability of flexibility of being able to do that, of sharing and also keeping it synced and being able to access it from anywhere. You can export to other formats such as PDF and Word. And there are lots of customized options that you can do. And I'm going to show you under File. One of the things we have is we have Export. And under this you can export the page, a section, or a whole notebook. And if you notice when you're on the page, I can do it to OneNote, I can do Word, I can do the old version of Word, I can do a PDF, an XPF, or a web page format. So I can select how I want it. If I do a section, I have similar type choices. If I'm doing a whole notebook, it does limit you on what you can do. It's only going to let me do a PDF, an XPS, or a single page web format, or just as a OneNote package. It does not do Word and the versions of Word if you're trying to export an entire option. So that's one of the features you get. Then the big thing that you have the ability to do is under Options. If you bring up the options, this is where you can customize OneNote every way you want to. I'm not going to go into everything on it. You can actually control the syncing. This is where you would set up backups, etc. that you would want to use. And you can also defer where it goes to automatically. If you want to put it in another folder on OneDrive, you could actually create a folder specially for yourself for OneNote if you're doing that. This is an area that is extremely powerful for me. If I want to send it to OneNote and things, I can select locations and other notes to be sent to OneNote. If I'm dealing with Outlook items, I can email it to somebody, I can do meeting notes, contact, and task within Outlook. I can also say on web content, print to OneNote, and screen clippings, where do you want it to go? I have them so it always asks me so I can control where it's at, but if I wanted to pick like where I want my screen clippings to go, I can actually to the clipboard only, or set default location, which means it's always going to go onto that page in that notebook. So that's how I can control where it would go. So this is some of the functionality you get in the OneNote 2016. You also get to customize your ribbon like in any other Office type applications, as well as a quick access bar. So the quick access bar at the top, you can do that, or other things. And you can also then put add-ins into this version of OneNote. And there are lots of people that are building third-party applications that will do functionality for you within OneNote to add and simplify and automate some of the functionality that you may want to achieve within OneNote. There is no wrong way to store and keep your data in OneNote. It lets you have free form so you can organize into the sections, the pages, the section groups, etc., however you want to do them, and you can do the layout on the screen however you would like to do it. Before I go into a couple other demonstrations, does anybody have any questions at this time?
Jerry?
Yes.
When you're talking about sharing,
Yes.
is your OneNote notebook on your OneDrive automatically shared?
No, it is not automatically shared. It is only shared if you choose to. And you can, and OneNote 2016, it does ask you if you want to share it right up when you're creating it. I always say no, but then I come back and I will show sharing with that. And it's only shared if you choose to share it. It is not shared automatically. Nobody can see this shared anywhere.
So if I want to share it with somebody, I have to give them what, a password, access to my OneDrive?
Well, let's just go take a look at that. Because that's where I was opening up here right now, is I was going to open up a thing to show you what sharing does.
Then I'll be very quiet.
That will be up first.
He's been
No,
quiet
I
the
thought-
whole evening.
He
I thought I was
asked for
beaten
that.
into submission last week.
Okay, what I've got is I've got Christmas item development out here, which is an application, and a folder that I have shared with my wife. Okay?
That's exciting.
We have to sign a non-disclosure.
Dirty word.
No, there's no secrets here.
Okay,
Oh,
we
okay.
don't get you in trouble.
My internet connection is kind of slow, so syncing everything is
Yeah,
on there.
public internets are usually slow.
And it says it's not
Sometimes
responding, so let's
private ones are too.
close it and see if we can reopen it and get it to come up.
Numbers. They don't want to pay for. Yeah. That's what you
Okay,
do.
this is a group of images that my wife wants me to take a look at, to use within our Christmas show, which will, for the Colorado Country Christmas Show next month at the Merchandise Mart. So if you notice, I've got there, she's given me lots of different images. If you notice, there is a CH beside each of the objects containers. That tells me that Carol did that. My wife's name is Carol, by the way.
Sure.
Fortunately, it's also the name of my girlfriend.
Oh.
And since they're one and the same, I'm okay.
So these are Christmas carols?
These are images.
Go back to sleep.
So if you notice here, my wife can do this. Now what happens is, when my wife makes an addition to notice, I get an email that tells me she made updates to it, so I know to go look at what she's done. So if she doesn't tell me she's made some updates, I automatically get updates. Now, one of the things that you do in each of the versions, there's a way to do this. I'm going to show you here. Under File, we have a thing called Share, over here on the left. If I open up, okay, this notebook is shared. It's shared with people. I can share a link, I can share with a meeting, or I can move to a notebook. So if you want to do it, you can type in an email address and then invite somebody, include a message. What they will get is an email from you that will have a link to this file on OneDrive. And they can click on that and now they can update that OneNote notebook on your item. So I already have that. You can also require the user to sign in before accessing if you want to do that.
Do they have to have the same version of OneDrive that you have, OneNote that you have?
No, they do not. They have to have version 10 or higher
Okay.
on the Office version of OneNote.
Okay.
Or they have to have the OneNote app, or they can go online and use that with it.
Thank you.
So you have that. So I'm going to, if I click on share with people or share a link, get a sharing link, this is another option. You can come in here. I can get a view link or I can get an edit link. So I can actually control whether somebody can just look at it or somebody can come in and actually do the changing. So you have that item there. If you notice down at the bottom, of course, it's shared with me because I'm the creator, but if you notice my wife's name is here and she can also edit it. I can take that away from her and let her read only if I want to, or I can just completely disable so she can't get to it if you want to. So you can control individuals of what you want to do. So if I want to give Dale a viewing link, I can copy this URL right there, that link up there. I can email that to Dale, and Dale can click on it from his email and open up that OneNote notebook and view it. He can't make any changes to it. But you can add and remove people at any time you want to do this. If you have Outlook on your machine, you can actually share it with a meeting. So that's an option if you do that, if you want to share it. So you can actually share it however you want, and then I can come back in here and I can see that Carol has been making the changes here on sharing. Does that help you, Dick?
Yes, I tried, oh, all right, okay.
I share a notebook with you. That's what that email is.
Okay, so if I open up that email, okay, Dale shared that with me, so I got this here, this is one he did. So I shared dog demo with you on one line, it's to me, it's dog test, it's called dog demo is what he had. So if I click on view in OneDrive, I can get the mobile app if I want it, but if I click on view it in OneDrive,
Now you're on Dale's OneDrive.
I'm actually accessing his notebook on his OneDrive.
Yes, okay.
So this is the OneDrive, this is the document that Dale has created, not notebook, and he shared it with me. Did you give me read write or both?
Edit.
Edit?
Edit capability.
Okay, so if I come in here and I go into test note,
So you can change your test,
I can
change my
edit.
test note. Yeah.
This is online. Right now, this brought me to the online version. I click on edit in OneNote or edit in browser. I'm just going to click on edit in browser. Okay, I'm just going to click in here. It's working. It reopened it and reset it so I can actually work on this now.
If his computer was off at the moment, would you be able to do this?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Because it's working
OneDrive.
it's in
It's
OneDrive.
in the cloud.
It's up in the OneDrive cloud.
Okay.
That is exactly
Okay.
correct.
So he can change anything he wants.
So I can come in here and say,
Now I'm actually seeing his typing as he types. In my desktop version, on Windows 10 version. of
Because
OneDrive.
you're online also. You'll
Well,
raise-
I'm connected, but I'm using the Windows 10 version, not the online version.
Okay.
so you don't have to use only one, you don't have to edit it in the same version it was created in or the same version
So
somebody
far I
used.
got part of what you typed, it hadn't updated yet.
Okay, well, it does take some time to update. It's not instantaneous,
And now it's all finally updated.
okay?
And has initials JH.
So he knows that I made the
Carol
child.
didn't make this, then it's not official.
What?
If it isn't by CH, Carol, we know it's not official.
Hey, in my family, I get to wear the pants.
Okay.
And Carol tells me when to put them on. When to
And I noticed, pick up my colors for the section.
Yes, I do.
Check the dog topics.
It did- it just, when I clicked on it, it went out and updated in sync, so his is green, so I'm seeing green also.
How about that?
So I can do that. Now Dale will get an email at some point in time telling me I did make a change.
Probably. I'm not even using my email on this right now.
Okay.
I have to use the web browser to get to it. I don't have Outlook on it.
So
So
that's,
have you been using it, Dale, now for a month or two?
What's that?
What?
OneNote?
OneNote.
I don't use it very much.
Okay.
I'm actually finding I'm using it more and more all the time. One of the things that I do when I'm at my computer job is I'm actually, instead of trying to save functionality and features and notes about how to do things in individual files, and then trying to remember where I did it, I've got a OneNote notebook that I open up and I just keep everything in the OneNote notebook from now on. So I can, if I want anything, and then I can use the search inside of it.
I'll go back to the test notes. So I updated the note, very easy update.
So collaboration and sharing is an extremely powerful feature if it's something you can benefit from.
How many containers am I looking at?
What?
What's a container?
Isn't a container a text box?
Section,
Is that what
OneNote
we called it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, there's only one. You can see the one that I'm highlighting. You can kind of look at it close. You kind of see a gray bar across the top.
Right.
Okay, so that's one container. I've
Oh,
started
okay.
a second container over here.
So I still get the skunk eye?
The what?
Skunk eye?
For what?
For saying the word container?
I wasn't here, I didn't hear the word, I'm sorry. I wasn't meaning to make fun of
So, but containers.
you. It's
Everybody
my
else
fault,
in the room
'cause
but you.
I will just tell you, normally, last time we did this, one of the people were late and they waited for him. No one waited for me tonight.
So, Dale, when you typed, you didn't do anything special to get inside Jerry's container. Just by typing, you stayed in the same container?
I stayed in my container. If I want to create a new container, what I have to do, insert text?
No, you just click away from the item somewhere on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Your keyboard isn't working.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it'll show up eventually.
Okay.
It's working on his machine, the cloud is slow.
Yeah, it has to
Because of a
update.
great connection.
Yeah.
The speed of your connection affects us
So-
greatly.
Yes.
If you give somebody the ability.
Oh, there we go.
And I deliberately scrambled the text.
Okay. So I mean, so it's extremely, like I say, I'm finding it extremely useful for my wife and I to share and do things and keep, understanding what everybody else. If I'm doing something for a show, my wife can go out and see what I'm planning on and what displays I'm going to use, etc. Is where we're going to this.
And on my phone version, I can tell that this notebook has not updated yet because I've got the little spinning
The
circle that's not
synchronization.
spinning at the moment, so it's not updated.
So it takes a while for these to come across.
Now it should be, okay, now it's finally updated.
But being only a minute or two outdated, it's not that bad compared to how we were with snail mail
Oh, yeah.
a few years ago.
Yeah, it's
Or
very,
even
very effective.
So now I'm on,
Kilobyte.
if I make a change here,
Email.
Gary will see it, I'll see it on my
Okay.
laptop.
It works across all the platforms if you're sharing and doing collaboration. And the whole world seems to be going more and more to collaborate, what they call collaboration and sharing information and working together. The newest versions of Excel and PowerPoint are all set up for doing collaboration and working together on items within the environments. One of the things that we did cover earlier is where your notes go when you're actually putting them.
Yeah,
And
I
I can-
apologize.
Help you with that
Okay.
offline.
If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see some more text.
A, B, C. Are you satisfied? There should be a comma after satisfied because Dick is direct address.
I knew he would have.
The comment is delayed, he put it in there, it just was in the cloud.
Let's let
Unlike
Jerry-
at work,
Let's let
it was
Jerry finish.
capitalized.
Let's let Jerry finish his demo.
Okay. Now, I know this is not going to answer everybody's questions. Please feel free to contact me if you have information and you're having an issue with OneNote. Like I say, I'm using it more and more extensively all the time on doing that. And if there's no more questions, I have a web page I would like to share with everybody that you need to think about for this month.
Yes, I'm satisfied, Dale.
And that, I just deleted that.
And it'll be gone. I'll lose access to it.
So what I shared with you now is gone.
This is an article I read. This was put out today, and on the 17th, there's a feature update coming to Windows 10. And this is how to delay that update, but still get the security patches. And this might be something that, if you're concerned about the update coming, you might want to read this article that tells you how you can delay it. Depends on the version of Windows that you have, how long you can delay it. If you have the home version, I think you can only delay it 6 days. From the time they say it's available, you have 6 days to do it. Otherwise, after 6 days, it will automatically go through it. But I thought this was something, I know some people are concerned about it. I wanted to share this so people know how to do it. Okay, if you're going to postpone a little time, you can, this is on OneNote, and you can set the times, you can set the dates. Now on the home version, you can do it for 6 days. If you have Windows Pro or Enterprise, you can delay it for up to a year and a year and a half. Now that's, I never delay more than 30 days personally. But if some people are doing it, but just remember that you lose a lot, you don't get to use some of the new features. But I'm not going to go through all the details, but you can actually, if you notice here, it says you can delay it for up to 365 days.
And that's only for Enterprise 365.
No, that's for Pro.
If you bought a Pro version for the extra money, you would be able to delay it that much? I thought you had to be an Enterprise to have a big delay.
Right there, I've got it highlighted, Windows 10 Pro.
Okay, and where does it say?
This is the section that I'm under, is that for the window, to defer this on Windows, use the following steps, and it goes down through here, and it shows you this is where the 365 comes in.
Okay.
Enterprise or Pro will let you download it, that delayed it for up to 365 days. Now there is a way to make it 18 months, and what you need to do is you need to change from current branch to current branch for business. And that's running about 6 months behind the current branch. So if you do the update for that, you can actually update it for a year and a half. And then this is on the 10. What they're saying is that if you turn off if you go into your Wi-Fi and see it's a metered account, it will slow it down also on getting the feature update. You can make it think that it's on a cell phone connection or a limited connection, and you can actually slow it down that way. And this is under WindowsCentral.com is where I found this article. Now one of the things that we run into is just like the Office 2013 versus 2016. New things are coming very fast and rapid, and there's no way you can postpone it forever. So you either have to make a decision to stay somewhat up to date, way out of date, or whatever.
Or ancient.
I mean, you know, we've got what, 24 months, and Windows 7 no longer gets any updates for security or anything else. So I mean, right now, I generally update, personally I update within 30 days of release. And
I don't want to be a troublemaker,
Sure you do.
which I am, but I always believe in doing updates promptly, but I am addicted to Windows 7 because of the, I'm trying to remember the name, the Media Center. And I can't get the Media Center with a later version, and I need the Media Center. So I have 2 old computers on Windows 7 for Media Center.
I have nothing but Windows 10 at home now.
Okay? But
That's personal
you're not
choice.
using the Media Center, and they obsoleted that in Windows 10. And to me, that's very important. I bought one computer perfectly to have it by my TV set to run my media. And it handles all my media, and I don't have a solution.
Does it go online?
Of course.
Okay.
I understand what's going on, but the Media Center, and that's the problem, less than 1% of the people using the Media Center.
What's this got to do with OneNote?
It's Windows.
What's updating Windows have to do with OneNote? Okay, I mean, these are.
I just wanted to share this article.
Come on, David.
Please.
Take a break.
That has me very upset. I am.
We know.
I know how you can solve that issue.
What?
Give me a blank check and I'll have a person write a specialized program that will do exactly what that does. It may take them a year, but they'll.
I'll give you a blank check with a limit of $10 on
No, you're going to be talking about 6 or 7 figures.
it. I understand that.
So if you want it, we can get it for you.
Roll back to Windows 7 and be quiet.
That's what I'm doing. I got it on 2 machines. I have to have Windows 7 on it.
See, I just got an email to tell me that Dale had made changes.
I deleted it. I just wanted to see how that plays out too.
But if you notice, I got a message that popped
Yeah,
up.
it'll let you know.
I've got an email that came in that says that that has happened.
Somebody's,
If I come up here, that's a summary, so I can go in and.
Yeah, it just doesn't tell you I deleted it. It said I changed it, but you don't know what I did.
And the change was the big one, Martha.
When you try to get to it, it won't be there.
Okay. Now, what I like about, one of the things about this is that if you use this, if you're using the mobile app on your phone, you can put all your grocery shopping list, your hardware shopping list, etc. on OneNote. And then when you get to the hardware store, you can open up and look at your OneNote on your cell phone and see everything you need to remember. And your wife can add to the grocery list while you're on your way down there and get it back.
That's a good thing.
What other questions can I answer about OneNote? Well, that's all I've got then, Dale. Again, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to assist outside of the meeting.
I thought it was good, Jerry.
This says 2016.
Did I confuse everybody?
yep, of course.
Right?
Oh, okay, because you
You've never used it.
Yeah.
No.
Probably
my charger.
Why would they? I mean, they said it was downloaded on such
You understand OneNote,
Thank you.
Sometimes they download
I did, it's.
demo versions. And in other words, it will run for 30 days and you gotta make all the
Okay,
So-
but you know Linux, right?
My mouse, but I'm gonna have to-
Okay, so
Please
Q&A
have to set that inside.
for about 10 minutes or so. All kinds of hands. Done.
Okay, my question is, I got around to sending my 8mm movie films to this place down in, well, I took them down there in Park Meadows, and I got them back, and all the files are just like a movie file you'd get from Redbox or something,
Okay.
IFO, BUP, BOB files, okay? That's what they're composed of. Now, what I'm wondering is, does anybody know if you can edit
No, I'd be happy to help.
a movie like that?
And I did, you have to find your
It'd be the same as doing a red.
Huh?
WonderShare is a simple program. Oh, look it up on Google. It's called WonderShare.
WonderShare. WONDER.
I use it on this every time. This is filming upside down. It actually takes it, moves it around.
And what format are these in?
Okay.
What's the file extension?
Doesn't matter.
There are 3 file extensions in a movie file, like from Redbox or anywhere, and my movies came back as IFO, BUP, and BOB. So
I
that's,
don't know what that is.
well, that's
The
just
movie
the
file.
typical movie file formats,
I don't do movies, so.
So.
But if Jack says it'll work, it should.
Yeah, WonderShare is very powerful. It's what I use for all my movies and stuff.
Okay, so you
But,
think it would work on these files?
I'm sure it will. Short of that, ask Google for more assistance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started to do that this evening and then ran out of time, but I thought maybe somebody here knew
And
quickly.
that's something that people might want to know. If you're going to take your stuff somewhere to have it converted, find out ahead of time what file format you're going to get back. They put it on CDs or on thumb drives?
DVDs.
on DVDs.
You can convert
And
it
I
yourself.
also had the raw file put on an external hard drive. So I could use the raw file, but their final file was so good that I hate to undo what they did. Because they did
Well,
a little edit.
If the final file's on a DVD, you can't undo it,
Well, I'd have to,
because it's on a DVD.
well, I can get that off. I mean, I can.
Well,
I
you
know how
can
to
copy
that.
it.
Yeah.
But if you have the RAW, make a copy of it, and then edit the RAW file,
Yeah, I could
your
use
copy.
that. It's-
And then you know you're not damaging the original, and you've still got their DVD copy. So, and try his Wondershare to see if that'll let you do it.
yeah. So you think Wondershare would allow me then to work with those type of, I don't have to convert it to something
If you have an
else?
uncle in there you don't want, you can cut him out.
Yeah.
If you have an uncle in there you don't want, you can just cut him out.
No way. You can-
Yeah, but that's one thing in general, if you're taking stuff, audio tapes, Super 8 movies to place to get it converted, maybe ask ahead of time what format you're gonna get back. Because maybe you have a choice.
I'm not sure if there was
Yeah.
much choice on that.
You may not have a choice
Yeah.
too, but I mean, they might give you a choice.
Yeah, but
They
if they give
usually
you
have a
three different
choice.
ones, you've got pretty,
One thing, on video,
if you got three different kinds.
add something, I'm sure someone smart said VLC is a program that's very
Yeah,
helpful.
VLC might work too, I don't know. Jack, you've used
VLC
it.
is very powerful and handbrake. I've found.
Have you used that, Jack?
Yeah.
Handbrake?
VLC?
both of
Yeah, but usually just for a viewer. I don't use
Oh,
any
okay, you'll
editing.
use that.
They're not great editing, but they'll change formats.
Right, that's what I need.
That's more of a format changing tool. You can go from one to the other. With VLC and handbrake on a machine, I can change any format.
I think I can do, I've done it with Handbrake, I think, before, so you're right. It's
I've
been a little
been-
while, but.
I haven't done it for years, and I'm tired tonight, so I'm saying stupid things. I know those two
And cranky
programs.
too.
And I'm late, yeah, I'm in the, and I like Media Center, and I'm in trouble. But those two tools, a year ago, when I was young and smart, helped me with everything, okay? I'm too old now to remember how to use them.
Okay, Dave,
Those
Dave
are
had a
two of my
question.
favorites, yeah, those are.
On restore points, you had done something which I got to cheat and watch a little bit of. When you did the restore point on Sam's machine, did you have an option as to what to remove or what?
Restore point, when you do restore back to a certain point, that's what you get.
Did you tell it what to go back to?
Well, it only gave me one choice. So that means Stan's system restore on that machine is set up to only keep one restore point.
And can he set that up to set a new one every day or?
You can tell it to do whatever you want.
And that's in a restore point manager file?
Yeah, what I do is I just type in, hit click start, type restore it, then go to system restore and figure out what the options are, and. But yeah, I don't know if that's the way it came. Was that converted from Windows 7?
No.
Okay, so it's brand new with Windows 10, so maybe, I don't know what Windows 10's default setting is.
I was just curious about that.
Yeah. But his only had one restore point. And that was 3 days ago.
That's not too good.
Huh?
That's not too good.
Well, no, but also we've noticed it didn't put your programs back.
Yeah.
Your Office programs, put everything else back, right?
But now, look like what I was showing you, you can reload it back there.
Maybe you can, I don't know.
And usually, and I'm showing my stupidity tonight, but usually on most of these restore options, they only show you the ones they recommend you do, and there's an option to see others.
Yeah, this one didn't give me any option to see
Okay.
others, so.
Okay, I'm just saying, normally I've been able to find a hidden.
But
thing
this is the
to
first
use
time
more.
I've seen installing a standalone Office package, in this case OneNote 2016, wiped out an old complete Office package. I've never seen that.
Well, it's that some of the parts of that program were incompatible.
Well, yeah, but normally it just removes the common core components and replaces it with its own, and usually that works. I've never seen it actually take the whole program off.
I will tell you, on
Ever.
OneNote, I had an old computer with a real old version of OneNote on it, and it was a disaster working with a real old version of OneNote, trying to get a new version of OneNote
Well,
on
yeah.
the same machine. I mean, like they were 10 years apart, and it was getting nasty.
Yeah, I've just never seen that happen.
They're no longer supporting
I'm
you.
hoping Stan
I
has the
knew I
original
was in
2013
trouble,
disc.
but I'm just saying,
Did you remove the
the old.
I didn't have time.
I'll send you a bill.
I'm only using the new one on my new
Oh,
machine.
$100.
About the only thing I may have is 2010. Any other questions? Somebody else had a hand up earlier. Okay, don't forget, I'll repeat, next month we're here on the second Thursday, not the first, because I couldn't get that. And in December, the same thing. For some reason, even though I tried early in the morning of the first day I can possibly get that reservation, all gone.
So it's the second for 2 months in a row?
It might be
And I
that
screwed up my calendar
library
already?
is doing them themselves.
That's why I got screwed up
The
tonight.
library's doing them themselves, whatever.
Well, that's what I think. Yeah, they've got something, you know,
Somebody's paying for it.
somebody's paid for a room and they take precedence over those of us who
Because
use it for
that's
free.
what happened last time with me. They had some management thing in here.
Yeah. Their old system, you could actually see who had the room. The new system, you can't see anything but your own stuff, which I don't like, because then you're dealing blind. You can't. I mean, you can see what is available, but you don't know who's using what. So it's either available or not.
I'm sure that-
So
it was
for
through
2
the-
months in a row, sorry, we'll be here the second Thursday.
And it might be through.
And that's going to cause a conflict with the micro people.
Because they're the last.
December.
We go back.
Okay.
Oh, December.
'Cause we have a December.
Well, actually, no, December, yeah.
Yeah, December is the second Thursday.
So, you know, we'll have to discuss that at micro, so some of us might have to, we might have to talk micro members into coming here,
Or we,
or we all go up there for the Christmas party.
or micro could meet on the first Thursday in December.
Yeah, it's about, well, it depends on
They have
whether the
both.
center has rooms available.
We're very
But then
inflexible.
we'll be on the last Thursday of November and the first Thursday of.
Well, yeah, we don't do the last Thursday of November because
Oh,
of
sorry.
Thanksgiving. So no, it's the first Thursday of December.
Are you sure?
I can't remember. Look at me. I'm old. My brain doesn't work.
Don't go for it.
Barbara should know, she does the website.
He agrees with you.
Now, Barbara,
And Barbara nodded quietly.
you guys are gonna have to start talking to Barbara a little bit about the switch over to the Macintosh community.
And she's got a new cell phone that she's playing with all night long.
Is that an iPhone?
No, the Windows
Oh,
8,
well.
the
She's now a customer service rep for Macintosh,
Really?
which netted her a new computer,
That works.
a free Macintosh.
can you spell
She's
Macintosh?
But,
She's a traitor.
see, I didn't think Macintosh people needed customer service because it's supposed to be so easy to use and it never breaks.
It's intuitive, right?
Yeah.
That's what they told me.
So I'm
It's
like,
intuitive.
why do they do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Any other questions, comments, complaints? Other than Stan wants to kill me?
That too.
I just can't believe that did that. And
Sure.
I can't believe the Restore Point didn't put it back.
That I can't,
That
believe.
I don't know. What you might do when you get your battery charged back up, put it on power and go back into System Restore and see if it has an older Restore Point that I didn't see. The only one I saw was that one, but maybe
I'm gonna try that other Windows thing that I was showing you first. Go
Yeah.
down to 213 and try that.
see if it'll give you that. I don't know. I don't know. That was strange. But Windows 10 has done some different things than older versions of Windows would do when you do things. So
That's why it's new and
I
fancy.
think, in some cases, I think Microsoft is deliberately
Sure.
pushing the envelope to move you to the new product.
No!
I know. Perish the thought they would never do that.
Anyone comment in this meeting about Microsoft's S version of Windows 10?
The what now?
S version,
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen anything about it.
yeah.
I mean, other than it's supposed to run on really dumbed down devices.
Dumbed down devices, and it is so secure, it's not backwards compatible, and you can't load a program that doesn't come from the Microsoft.
Yeah,
store.
everything has to come from
They're
the
trying to
store.
make your Apple so totally safe, but you can't do anything with it. And anyone who buys it, you get a free upgrade to the regular version of Windows when you get disgusted.
Yeah, even the OneNote that Stan and I downloaded tonight, the OneNote 2016,
Yeah.
from Microsoft,
Yeah.
the desktop version,
Yeah,
Windows 10 identified it as an external source,
yeah.
not from the Windows Store. Wouldn't install it until I changed my settings. So,
Will Stan's recovery be a November topic?
well, maybe he can tell us what he did.
I shot Dale.
If I'm not here to talk to
That should prevent it from not happening again. That doesn't recover to today.
I just, I told him I may have to add his email address account to my Office 365 package so he can get it, he can load the Windows early
That sounds
on.
good to me.
Well, what you could do is, 5 of you could go together and pay $20 a
Yeah.
year.
I've heard of people doing that.
And then you could,
Sure.
then each one of you could get, you'd have to have one person that would be the key point.
Yeah, one has to be the master account.
Master, and he could give it to the other 4. But then, I mean, it's $100 a year.
I put my wife on, I put my
It's
son
85 a
on.
year if you get it at Costco.
So I have two more to go, don't I?
Yeah.
Beach.
You get five
Only
loads
one
for
after
5 people.
Stan. Only one to go.
The problem with that is, Stan, I can online go in and deactivate your
Oh,
install.
that's true, yeah.
But here's the kicker. It'll still work. You can read files, you just can't create any new ones. But it gives you a terabyte of OneDrive storage.
Not bad.
Yeah, 5 systems for $85
Yeah, well, actually 5 users,
users.
5 accounts. Each one of those accounts can put it on a PC, a laptop, and a mobile device.
Oh, each person can put 3?
Actually 4, counting a phone. But here's the kicker. Mobile devices, remember the guy was here from Microsoft at one meeting?
Yeah, the guy who said he was going to come back.
Yeah, never came back. It determines if the device is, quote, mobile by the processor only. So like my little tablet, even though it's a tablet, it's mobile. I mean, it's not a laptop. It has an i5 processor, so it's considered a laptop or a desktop.
Huh.
I don't know.
So it has to be mobile like a...
Well, it has to have
Adam said.
like an M processor or an Atom processor or what, it's got to have one of the, quote, mobile processors.
One of the dumb mobile processors.
And I told him, I said, well, that's kind of dumb. But he said, that's the way they did it. Because how else are you going to tell whether it's a mobile unit or not?
Ask the
Now, the
user.
key is, I've seen some people install
people
mobile
like.
processors in a desktop.
Yeah.
So, okay, any other questions?
But you can use it, like you said, on 3 to 4 devices.
Yeah, I forget to, I mean, it tells you, the master account can tell how many installs are done, that kind of stuff. So
And
I
I
see stamps show up
thought
on
devices with under 10-inch screens were considered mobile.
Well, that's what I thought they were going to do, but they didn't. They
I-
went with the actual processor.
Okay,
So,
I heard they were doing the screen size, but obviously.
like I can't put it on this because I've already got it on my desktop and my laptop. So I've used up those 2 levels of install. I thought that would be mobile, but it
Wait,
wasn't.
how big a screen is it? It was 10 inches or 9
It's like
inches?
10.1 or
But
something.
it's literally those, no, I was told if it was under
Now, a guy told me, and I looked it up, finally found it in one of their
tech bucks.
tech articles. It interrogates and says, oh, wrong processor.
Well,
Okay.
fortunately, that